Okay, so I just watched the very first episode of American US X Factor, and this is what I have to say about it. Okay, so as some of you may know, some of you may not know, I am a huge certifiable Anglophile, obsessed with England, obsessed with the UK, obsessed with this, everything about it. And I've kind of been into it since about 2008. So I have my first kind of obsession with England. It started with Girls Aloud, and I found out about them from Perez Hilton's website, which I used to read, and that's how I found out about Girls Aloud. And from Girls Aloud, I found out about just kind of the whole British like pop music scene, and like everything, like the Saturdays, Girls Aloud, The Wanted, JLS, the Sugar Babes, like everybody, you know what I mean? And because I've loved Girls Aloud since 2008, once Cheryl Cole became a judge on the UK version of the X Factor in 2008, I started watching the X Factor. I used to watch it on YouTube. Before that, I was aware of the X Factor because Leona Lewis had won UK X Factor, so I knew what it was, but I didn't watch it, But I started watching it on YouTube once Cheryl Cole became a judge. Okay, so Cheryl Cole was a judge on the UK X Factor for 3 years. Out of those 3 years, she won 2 of the years. The first year she was on, she had Alexandra Burke, she won. Second year she was on, she had Joe McKeldry, she won. The third year, 2010, when she was on, she lost. Danny Minogue won with Matt Cardle, but she was in the final. Her other act, Rebecca, was in the top two with Matt. Okay, and so once all the talks about the U.S. version of the X Factor started going on, there was a lot of speculation that Cheryl was going to join Simon as a judge on the U.S. X Factor. And that's because once Cheryl joined the show kind of took on like a new. It just like got like reinvented, because before Cheryl, when it started, it was Simon, Louis Walsh, and Sharon Osbourne. And then they added Danny Minogue. And then Sharon Osbourne quit because she hates Danny Minogue, and then that's when they hired Cheryl. And Cheryl is she's really like she's just so easy to love. And I think once she became a part of being on people's televisions every day on the biggest show in the country, people just fell in love with her even more from her being in Girls Aloud. People just in the UK just really fell in love with her as a person because she's so personable. She's so easy to love. She comes across as such a genuine, nice person. She's very honest. She's very vulnerable, in the audition process. She's very, like, real with the people, the other contestants and things like that. So, basically, she was just, in my opinion, she was the best judge on the show and one of the best reality show judges I had, like, ever seen. She was just very, very good at what she did, and she really cared about mentoring her contestants. And that was very obvious. So, when all the speculation was going on about the US X Factor and who's going to be the judges, Cheryl was one of the first prospects. And then come to find out as, time went on and, the auditions started to get closer and closer, it was confirmed that the four judges were going to be Simon Cowell, L.A. Reid, Paula Abdul, and Cheryl Cole. Okay, so Cheryl's coming to America. Nobody knows who she is here. She's going to be a judge on the X Factor, the, like, most anticipated show, like, this season because Simon Cowell left American Idol and now he's bringing his own show. So it was really anticipated, okay? So people were excited about it. I, of all people, was excited about it because I love Cheryl Cole. If there's anybody else in America who thinks they know more about Cheryl or know more about, any kind of British entertainment or celebrities or music, like, I will challenge them because I just am obsessed with her. So I was like the most excited person in the world. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to see Cheryl like on my TV. Just turn on my TV on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, and I'll be able to watch Cheryl on the X Factor, my favorite show, and it'll be in America. Like, I was so excited. So once the first auditions happened in LA and Cheryl, was photographed and she was there and she was talking about how she's getting on with being in America and being in a foreign country and how, the audition process is going, I was just so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, it's real. It's really happening. Okay, then a couple weeks later, it was announced she was fired. The executives at Fox fired her and replaced her with Nicole Scherzinger, who was already in line to be a host of the X Factor, a second host, because they had Steve Jones and Nicole Scherzinger were going to be the two hosts. And then they fired Cheryl and hired Nicole to take her place. When this happened, this threw me for a loop. One, because I just didn't understand why they would fire her. I feel like what I felt betrayed. I felt like because I feel like me and Cheryl, like, we're cool. Like, we're friends. I love her. Like, I that's the kind of, like, connection I feel with her. You know, I just feel really loyal to her, as that's how much I like her as an artist. And so, and I understand her and Simon's relationship. And so once Simon is the creator of the show, it's his show. And so for him to let Cheryl go and bring in Nicole, I just felt betrayed. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you and Cheryl were, like, closer than this. Like, you brought her all the way to a foreign country and, you know, put her name out there to be a judge on your show, and then you're going to fire her. Like, I felt like they were degrading her, like they played her, you know? Because it's like, what kind of reputation is she going to have now in America for, you know, being on a television show and then being fired for it? Like, that's just ridiculous to me, and it's just embarrassing, you know? I was just mad and betrayed. And I don't dislike Nicole at all. Like, I really like Nicole Scherzinger too, and I think she was a really, really good judge when Cheryl had malaria last season and she was filling in for her. Like, I thought she was terrific. But the fact that Nicole was coming in and taking my Cheryl's place, I was, like, not having it. Like, I couldn't listen to Nicole's music anymore. Every time I saw her, like, on promotional pictures for the X Factor, I was just, like, disgusted. Because I just felt like Simon got rid of the old girl and brought in somebody new and totally forgot about Cheryl, and she was, you know, done. Because now she's not even on the UK version anymore. So she's just, like, out of the X Factor altogether, when I felt like she had such a strong connection with the show and, you know, like, she really enjoyed doing it. And now she's just out altogether. So I just felt completely betrayed. I was not looking forward to watching it anymore. I was totally, like, every time I thought about it, it just kind of made my, like, blood boil, because I was so mad, you know, that Cheryl wasn't going to be on the show anymore and I wasn't going to be able to see her. And she got played and she was embarrassed. Like, he embarrassed her in front of the world by bringing her and then firing her, like, after, like, you know, 2 weeks or whatever. And I mean, there was lots of speculation as to why she was let go. Some people say that it was because her accent was too strong. Some people say she just really wasn't kind of clicking with the other judges. Some people say her and Paula didn't get along and she was, had like a, what is it? Like some beef with Paula because Paula's so close with Simon, where in the UK, Cheryl and Simon were very close and Cheryl always sat next to Simon and now Paula's sitting next to Simon. So those kind of things were speculated about. I just couldn't understand why the executives at Fox would let her go after they already hired her. Like, this is a high stakes kind of production, like a really anticipated show. So I would think that anybody that you're going to bring on to be a part of this show, before you hire them and before you release a statement saying this is confirmed, like, you would be confident in your decisions. Like you're confident with Steve Jones as your host, with Simon, with L.A. Reid, with Paula, and with Cheryl. Like, you wouldn't announce it to the world unless you were fully confident that these were people you wanted to be, you know, to be the faces of your new television show. Because who wants to have to go through all the like media, you know, the media scrutiny for having to fire people and replace people? Like, it's not a good look for your television show to have to go through that. So, so I wasn't excited about it, like I said. But tonight, I got home from work. I recorded it because I was at work. So I watched it on my DVR, just finished watching it. And the way I feel about it is Cheryl didn't feel like the same Cheryl that I know. She didn't come across as charismatic, as really happy to be here. She looked very timid and very, like, scared to speak up, and just not the same Cheryl that I know from watching the X Factor, you know, these past 3 years. And I would think it's because maybe she feels like, you know, as a judge, maybe these contestants won't respect me because they don't know me. Like, who is this girl with the funny accent trying to tell me yes or no? Like, what has she done? How does she have anything to back, you know, her decisions up? Like, or, you know, just feeling out of her comfort zone. She's in a foreign country, and she didn't really speak a lot. Like, it just wasn't really. I didn't really feel like she was clicking like I know she does on the UK version, you know. And so I started to understand why she isn't a part of the show anymore. I still think within time that she would have gotten more comfortable in doing it. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable, and maybe she wanted to leave. Maybe she wasn't pushed out as, you know, I perceived it to be. Maybe she was part of the decision to kind of go their separate ways, her and the show. I don't know, but I do know that she was not acting this as I know her to act, and that was sad to me because I was excited for her. So when I was watching Nicole, I was definitely very surprised, you know, surprised to see her and how she got on as, replacing Cheryl. She fit in very quickly. And like I said, I really enjoyed her as a judge on the UK version last year. I thought she was really good. And so I think I'm okay with the decision. Nicole is very charismatic and very personable and very, easy to like, and she has a big personality, and it definitely comes through on the show and on the judging panel. So I think I'm excited about it now. Now that I do feel like in the show, in the audition process in LA, which Cheryl was a part of, when they showed her parts, they definitely treated her with dignity and respect, and they didn't make it seem like she was fired and she was let go and she didn't do a good job. It was nothing like that. They definitely, didn't try and tarnish her name or nothing like that. So I respect the show and Simon for making that decision and really making her feel like she was a judge for a certain amount of time, and now she's just no longer a judge. Not like she was a judge and we got rid of her and now we have somebody else to replace her who's better. That's not how it was. So I'm glad that the X Factor and Simon and the production company took that route and didn't kind of, make her look bad. So really, I feel like now that was a good start though for Cheryl in America, and kind of the ball's in her court and will.i.am's court, who's her American manager, to kind of take her career wherever they want it, because that was, amazing publicity for her to be on the first episode of the X Factor, which probably, I'm not sure because it just aired, but I'm sure it had amazing ratings. So and she did just film here in Atlanta some scenes for the new movie, what's it called? What to Expect When You're Expecting, which will be out next year. She shot a cameo scene in that movie, and the movie features Jennifer Lopez and Cameron Diaz. So, slowly but surely her kind of pickup here in America, I think, is going to start to take off. And, so now I'm not bitter anymore. I'm happy about the show and the way it came out, and I'm excited for the rest of the season and look forward to seeing how Nicole and the rest of the judges, who they find and the kind of talent they create, because the X Factor really is like my favorite show. So I just had to get that off my chest. I was going to tweet about it, but I knew I was going to talk a lot, so I thought I would just make a video about it and, get it off my mind. And if anybody wants to listen to what I have to say, that's what I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out my blog, nicosisneros.blogspot.com, for fashion updates and things like that. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/nicosisneros. And until next time, I'll talk to you.